What's up, you guys? Josh Tongla here. Today, I want to share with you a powerful affirmation that I believe can literally change your life from this day forward. Because once you wake up and learn how to express your attitude towards life consciously, then by the end of this, you'll know the secret to shaping your reality. And this is still part of a series I'm doing based on a book by Vadim Zealand called Reality Transurfing. And in case you haven't heard, there's an official International Transurfing Institute for the English Language endorsed by Vadim Zealand himself, and I've recently teamed up with them to collaborate so we can help spread this knowledge, and you can find more about them by clicking on the links below. You see, according to Vadim Zealand, the problem is that a lot of people are so quick to express their negative attitude towards life when they're dissatisfied with something, right? Whereas when anything good happens, they take it for granted, almost indifferently. But here's what you got to keep in mind. This whole world, Zealand says, can be seen as a gigantic dual mirror. It's like this. On one side of the mirror lies the physical universe, and on the other side of the mirror lies the metaphysical space, the alternative space, which contains all the alternatives of all possible events. Now check this out. The world, like a mirror, reflects your relationship to it. Okay? In other words, you control reality by controlling your chain of thought. That being said, I want to share with you a very simple yet very powerful affirmation you can say that if you were to make a habit, dude, you'll seriously be blown away by the impact your thoughts will have on your environment. Okay, the affirmation goes like this. You ready? My world takes care of me. My world takes care of me. See, according to Zealand, basically what you're doing as you say this is that you're deliberately adjusting your perception of the world to align with this dominant idea that the world takes care of you. And as you do that, the mirror responds. Zealand says to look into the past and remember when you were a child. What happened? The world really did look after you, right? But you didn't truly value it back then because you took it for granted. And I'm not just saying you, we all did. But try right now. In your mind's eye, I want you to go back to those times when you felt secure, when you felt peaceful, not troubled by anything. Like the time you were playing in your backyard and having fun with your friends, or when your mom was cooking your favorite dish, or you can still smell it even now. Or that love you felt being carried by your dad and falling asleep in his arms. You name it. Remember those feelings? For some of you, those memories are still vivid. And believe it or not, it was like that back then. Why? Because the world did take care of you. And even if you vaguely suspected it to be true, he says, you most likely didn't attribute any particular meaning to those experiences. However, that being said, you most likely didn't have any particular complaints to make either. Everything was just fine back then. See, even when a child is acting up, he points out that they don't put their heart and soul into their dissatisfaction, right? Sure, they'll scream to the top of their lungs and cry like crazy, but here's a comforting truth that Zealand wants us to remember. The world still carries the child carefully and caringly, asking them what's wrong. Even when the child makes a mess and gets all dirty, the world graciously says, let's go and clean you up. And as the child grows and develops, the world lovingly saves the best for them, giving them exciting new toys to enjoy and fresh experiences, with them not realizing that they're enjoying life in the moment. But people don't get this till years later when they remember how good everything was back in the day in comparison to how it is now. Question. Zealand asks, so why does it seem like that with time, all life's colors seem to fade? And the light serenity that you used to feel is now replaced with all this anxiety and worry. Is it because as time goes by and we get older, there's more problems? Nope. Here's why. Ready? It's because as we grow up, we adopt the tendency to express a negative attitude. And that dissatisfaction is a more powerful feeling than the satisfaction that comes from comfort and being at peace. So when we're ungrateful, you guys, just constantly complaining that the world doesn't care, well, since the world is a mirror, as a result, reality, as a reflection of human thought, will end up changing for the worse. And when that happens, you end up feeling dissatisfied with life even more. Life gets dimmer and dimmer. But before you get all sad and depressed hearing all this, the good news is you can bring it all back very simply. That feeling of peace, that feeling of newness and joy. Here's how. Zealand says you can renew the layer of your world. Listen, by taking control of your relationship to reality. Plain and simple. Because whatever your perception is of the world, he says, is what your world will become. That's why you want to make it a rule to consciously control your outlook on life, even if things don't look good at the moment. Because think about it. Things could be a lot worse, right? Sure, a lot's changed in your world. I get that. But the world never turned its back on you. okay? It never did. Open your eyes and look around you, folks. It's the same world as it was before that took care of you, the same one you used to enjoy, and is still taking care of us. Look at the flowers and the trees planted for us, or the fact that we don't got to pay attention to the sun or the sky or the clouds. Imagine what life would be like if they weren't there. The world still feeds us and puts us to bed, yet we still turn a blind eye, convinced that the world isn't what it used to be. The world hasn't changed, you guys, just as a mirror never changes. It's your relationship to the world that has changed. Be freed from the illusion. Follow this rule that no matter what the circumstances are, whether they're good or bad, no matter how small or trivial they may seem, seriously, confirm your reality that the world is taking care of you. When something fortunate happens, say it. My world is taking care of me. When something disappointing happens to you, still say it. My world is taking care of me. And try not to waver. Simply place your trust in the world and don't go through life thinking that you can do everything yourself. Let the world take care of you, for goodness sake. That doesn't mean you're just chilling, doing absolutely nothing. You know what I'm saying? It means you believe that everything is working out for you. And when you believe that, I'm telling you, dude, the mirror will reflect your perception flawlessly. For instance, here's an example Zealand uses that even happened to me. Like the time I was leaving my condo here in the Philippines, and the moment I stepped out of the building, no joke, it looked like it was about to rain because it started to drizzle a bit. But I didn't have an umbrella on me. Thing is that we live way up on the top floor of the building. So instead of going back inside and going all the way up just to get my umbrella, I reminded myself and said, my world takes care of me. And I went for my walk. And you know what? It didn't rain for real. Even when I walked back home, which was hours later. And here's the thing. Even if it did rain, Zealand says, the world will always look after you and provide you with shelter just in time. All right, real talk now. I don't know what you're going through, but I bet that some of you listening have gone through some pretty tough times. Okay, I ain't even gonna downplay them. Some of you feel alone, you feel hurt, thinking no one really cares about you. But you know what? That's not true. That's not true. You are not alone. Okay? You are not alone. And I encourage you to say it right now. I am not alone. My world cares for me. Seriously, say it. Look, if things aren't turning out the way that you want, I'd hesitate to get all pissed off and bitter. Why? Remember, you're standing in front of a mirror. All the mirror does is reflect your mental outlook, no more, no less. So again, whatever happens, when things are looking good, repeat it to yourself. My world is taking care of me. And when things aren't looking so good, still affirm it. The world is looking after me. Everything is turning out as it should. And if you keep this up, Zealand says, your world will literally become transformed in front of your very eyes, and you'll never look at the mirror of the world in the same way ever again. How you look in the mirror, he says, will determine how things will be, because you get what you believe. Yeah. Alrighty, guys, if you enjoyed this, please do me a favor, like and share this, or if you're listening via podcast, I'd really appreciate a review. It gets more people to discover my work, and of course, help spread this message. And I'd love to hear your experiences or questions in the comments below. And if you haven't yet, hit that subscribe button and the bell right next to it to be notified of my next video. What you waiting for? I pump these out every single week, so you don't want to miss them. And don't forget to register for my free online training where I dive deeper into how you can start manifesting the life you really want right now. So check it out. The link's in the description. Like I always say, more's coming. Till next time, I'm out. Peace.